Welcome back to the Marathon series in depth. In the last video, we sent a message to Earth warning them of the 4 attack. The message will arrive shortly, in just 92 years. In the meantime, Leela was planning to send us to the engineering section to rescue a security detachment. Only, we don't end up where Leela was planning to send us, and instead, we end up in Blaspheme quarantine. The original level design notes show that this was originally going to be the next chapter titled Reprisal. However, instead, in the final version of the game, it is the last mission in the chapter Counterattack. I guess it doesn't really make sense to put it in Reprisal since we are still kicking alien butt here. Blaspheme Quarantine was the third and final level in the Marathon demo, and there are a few changes from the demo that we will discuss throughout the video. The map has annotations titled Quarantine Center and Quarantine Storage, so perhaps this map was intended to be a section of the ship for quarantining people and/or products. Additionally, we will learn shortly that Durandal has intercepted our teleportation from the last mission and sent us to this map. He will tell us that he kidnapped us and wants to play a little game with us. Such a disturbing AI. Anyways, you could say that Durandal has placed us on quarantine within the section of the ship that is designed for quarantines. How appropriate. Bungie's Matt Sell wrote to the Marathon story page to discuss the level name. Blasphemy Quarantine was a sort of warning. The idea was that this was the level which would solely tempt you to start swearing and yelling and pulling your hair out, which you should really just keep your mouth shut and keep trying. In effect, there's a quarantine on Blasphemy. It should be contained. As you will see in the mission, there are several different spots where it can be confusing to figure out how to open a door, what a switch does, where to go, or why a certain door is opening so dang slow. This would explain why someone playing this level might start swearing, as Matt points out. So not only are we being quarantined by Durandal, we are also being quarantined for our language. The level was designed by Greg Kirkpatrick, and here's what he had to say about the level. This is probably one of my fondest levels. There are some challenging fights, a few things to figure out, and some nice looking spaces. I came up with the name because I was daydreaming about being a dog brought into this country. I guess if a dog is to have rabies or some other issue, it would have to be quarantined, but I'm not sure that is what Greg is getting at or not. Seems like a pretty random thought to me. The original level design notes show suggestions for the original level name to be something like Scared or Scarecrow. Perhaps Bungie was originally planning for this level to be much scarier than how it turned out. If you look at the map file in a hex editor, you'll find that there is some remnants of a couple of previous level names that ended in Seal and the letters PA. I will let you speculate on what the previous level names might have been. Alright, here we are in Blasphemy Quarantine. Gotta save right away, pick up some ammo. Let's read Durandal's first terminal. Science Terminal 236G. Incoming message from Durandal. Durandal.3367922391. Sorry to give you the bad news, but you've been kidnapped. You aren't where Leela wanted you to go, and you surely won't get there anytime soon. I was watching what Leela was having you do. Save the ship, save humanity. And just what or who are you saving them from, and to what end? How cliché. You will find this little visit much more exciting. I have devised a little game for you to play. If you win, you go free, and we continue our relationship on friendlier terms. If you lose, you die. Good luck in our little game. Unlike Leela, I give no hints. Do it on your own, or die trying. Insanely yours, Durandal. End message. Not counting the secrets found on Smells Like Napalm Tastes Like Chicken and also on the Rose, the last time we have heard from Durandal directly was in the story introduction from the game manual. Durandal chuckles. Ah, lucky you. I have found a new distraction. I am going to play with the alien virtual parasites. I'll look you up when you arrive. It seems that this deranged AI keeps his word. We know that this fit have been hacking into the Marathon's computer systems, so this is likely why Durandal called them virtual parasites. Regardless, what exactly does he mean by play with them? Well, whatever that means, it seems that now Durandal wants to play with a security officer instead. Since we are stuck here, we are going to have to play Durandal's little game. Why exactly, though, did Durandal spend the time to kidnap us, and what is his goal with this little game? Of course, we know from our experience with Durandal so far that the AI have some sort of sickening yet playful personality, but it would seem likely that he is up to some sort of evil plot and his actions are not completely random. After all, these AIs are extremely intelligent. Durandal tells the security officer that he has been watching him, so that means Durandal knows the security officer has been doing some work against the Four. Perhaps he wants to use the security officer for his own purposes. After all, Durandal tells us that he will continue our relationship with him if the security officer makes it out of his little game. In the terminal, Durandal mocks Leela's goals of saving the ship from the Four. The other time that we heard from Durandal was on the secret terminal on the Rose, where Durandal revealed that he called the Four to the Marathon ship. Exactly why he brought the Four is unknown to us, but this definitely shows that his goals are very much different from Leela's. Before we get on with the mission, there are a few changes in the terminal from the demo. First off, there is a section in the middle that was completely changed. The meaning didn't really change, but here is how it used to read. How boring, how cliche. You'll find this little visit to my playpen much more exciting. The two questions that were added in the final version really add a lot to what Durandal is trying to express. And just what or who are you trying to save them from, and to what end? The only other change in this terminal is in the sentence with the garbled text. In the demo version, the text was much clearer. I have devised a little game for you to play. Why exactly was this text garbled? With those letters TYC, did Tycho have something to do with it? Perhaps we will find out. Anyway, that's enough for this terminal. Let's get the level rolling. Alright, we just come out here and we immediately meet a compiler. Just shred these guys. Turn on a platform we can't see it. Here's just a door, we can't go anywhere. This one's locked. And there's a few enemies in here. These guys. A few compilers in there. Alright, now we can go down here and go up this platform we turned on with the switch. There's some ammo right here. Okay, there we go. These guys found their way into here, it seems. There's that little door right there, a window. Got to save right here, and there's tons of enemies out here. Tons of them. Just not, they're around the corner. Why can't I move? There's a lot of enemies around here. Okay, this turns on the lights. This activates that platform I ran by. There is one more switch out here I want to hit. This one turns on the light up above. And then we can continue. There's that. Before we go up there, I want to come around here. And this just goes right out to that hallway around. Because there's this platform that goes back to the starting area. Once you jump down, that door down there will open. You'll just return to the start. But that's that. We can run up here and go up this platform. That door is gonna lock behind us that we ran through. Oh, what the heck? I don't even know who hit us. Okay, there we go. Very nice. So let's run up here. We got a switch we can hit. Open up that door. Okay, let's just jump down here because there's some compilers down here I'm gonna deal with right away. Okay, there we go. So I think I grabbed all the ammo down here. Just as those compilers down there can like kind of hit you in the back when you're not paying attention. This platform is extremely slow. Come on. Come on, platform. You can raise up. You can do it. You heal there. This switch does nothing. It's tied to that platform, but that platform's automated. Let's read this terminal. Quarantine Lab Control Room, Terminal 321A. Incoming message from Durandal. Greetings. You're asking yourself, is this a trap or just a dead end? You shouldn't ask yourself such worthless questions. Aim higher. Try this. Why am I here? Why do I exist? And what is my purpose in this universe? Answers. 'Cause you are, 'cause you do, 'cause I got a shotgun and you ain't got one. Notably unstable, Durandal. P.S. If things around here aren't working, it's because I'm laughing so hard. End message. When I read this terminal, I'm not asking myself if this is a trap or dead end. I'm actually asking myself, why do I have to wait for these super slow platforms to allow me to progress to the next part of the level? This is one of the irritations I have with the first Marathon game. You could say that it's because Durandal is messing with all the platforms, but let's be honest with ourselves. Bungie definitely should have made more of the platforms quicker. Anyways, I know I complained about it before, but it does get better in the sequels. In this terminal, Durandal seems to be enjoying his time messing with a security officer in his little game. In part of his harassment, he tells us his purpose is that he has a shotgun and we don't. This quote actually comes from a parody song titled, "This Land is My Land." The original song, "This Land is Your Land," is about how we share the land together as a community. The song parody, though, is obviously much different and is about keeping trespassers off your private property. The part of the song in reference goes something like this. Pardon my poor singing skills. This land is my land, it isn't your land. I got a shotgun, and you ain't got none. If you don't get off, I'll blow your head off. This land was made just for me. It seems that Durandal is telling us that our purpose doesn't really matter at this point, and we have to do what Durandal tells us to do since he has the power here. Another way to look at this is that we are his toy shotgun. Or perhaps Bungie is foreshadowing a certain weapon we may get at some point in the Marathon Trilogy. One thing I want to point out is that Durandal tells us that things aren't working because he is laughing so hard. Perhaps that is why the switch directly next to the terminal isn't working. Anyways, another interesting thing is that this terminal changed significantly from the demo. Here's what it said in the demo version of the level. Incoming message from Durandal. Greetings. You're asking yourself, is this a trap or just a dead end? It is neither. It is a test of patience, observance, and intelligence. There is a solution, and I don't even think that it's a very difficult one. Insanely yours, Durandal. End of message. I like the final version of the terminal much better than what was in the demo. It seems that Bungie shifted a little bit from focusing on the challenge Durandal was placing on the security officer and instead focused on Durandal's insane personality. The final terminal, I think, captures his sarcasm much better. Anyway, let's continue on and get through his little puzzle. Alright, and then you kinda, like when you run along this ledge, the lights turn on, which maybe I should have done that before I went down and fought. If you come over here, the lights turn off. It's kinda interesting. So if you hit all these switches, activate certain platforms, but you can kinda run down here towards the end and just wait. But once you jump on this little polygon between the platform and the and that transporter opens this door right here. There it is. And that's a timed door, so you don't want to get locked in there. Anyways, now that we've done that, we can proceed. We got all that ammo. It's by far the easiest way to get through that is by... let's go to the next area. There's going to be quite a bit of fight up here. Try not to take it. I want to save my health. I don't know why these guys aren't really running down here. There's so many guys here. We don't want to jump down there yet. I didn't even have to use any ammo. So now this area is all cleared. Give us a grenade. Now before we jump down there to get to the exit, there's this kind of secret here. Just run across this platform, and somewhere on there is a polygon that opens a door down here, which is this door right here. There's all this ammo. Although it costs us a good amount of health. And here's a special terminal. Several of the terminals in the Marathon Trilogy have been being read by voice actors within the community. You can find many of these recordings appearing on the Marathon story page. There are still a lot of terminals that have not been read by voice actors yet. However, this is one of the first terminals we have run across that a voice actor has read. Credit goes to Mooney for his voice recording on the Tycho terminals.
Durandal, I know of Strauss's abuse and of your shame on Mars, but you cannot hide from your own past. Such delusions belong to the humans alone. The Spit reanimated me in your image, with prior knowledge of how the second stage could be postponed. You should not have helped them as much as you did. They have created an adversary more powerful than yourself.
The author of this terminal becomes fairly clear when you consider the secret terminal from Tycho on Defend This. In that message, much of Tycho's message was all garbled up, but now he is speaking much more clearly. It seems that the Spit really did fix him up nicely. Does this mean that Tycho is now allies with the Four? Things could be going from bad to worse. Apparently, Tycho thinks that he is much more powerful than even the rampant AI Durandal, which does not look good for us at all. Perhaps the compilers made some improvements to the AI's coding. How exactly did the Spit recreate Tycho in Durandal's image? Well, Tycho tells Durandal that he should not have helped the Spit as much as he did, which means that Durandal has been in communication with the Spit, so perhaps the compilers stole some of Durandal's data. Did the compilers create the first stable rampant AI by using data from a rampant AI itself to rebuild Tycho? I mean, to add on to this, Tycho clearly points out that the Spit delayed his second stage of rampancy. Either way, it seems our suspicions were correct that Durandal was playing with the compilers. Although I am not sure at this point we really know what Durandal has been helping the Spit with and what exactly the relationship is. Tycho brings up the name Bernard Strauss in the message. The only previous time this name showed up so far was in Tycho's secret message on Defend This, where part of the name was cut off. In that message, Tycho was telling us that there was a way to delay Durandal's second stage of rampancy. Therefore, one would think that Strauss is somehow related to Durandal's rampancy, although we don't know the exact context. Tycho informs us that Strauss abused Durandal. Going back to the rampancy terminal on Defend This, we know that the more rampant AI is harassed or threatened, the more rapidly it becomes dangerous. We also know that a stable rampant AI is a holy grail of cybertonics. Does this mean that Strauss intentionally abused Durandal to make him go rampant? The Marathon would provide a planetary-sized network of computers for the rampant AI to grow on after all. Reading between the lines, it seems that Strauss may have found a way to delay the second stage of rampancy and was likely going to implement that on Durandal, but things must have gotten out of control before he could implement his plan, if that's what it was. One question we have though is what exactly is Durandal's shame on Mars that Tycho speaks of? Could he be discussing his mundane duty of controlling the ship's autonomous functions, doors, life support, kitchens, air reprocessors, stairs, and so on? The only problem is that this would technically be on the Marathon and not on Mars itself, so that may not be what Tycho was referring to. Is it possible that Durandal had a previous function on Mars before being moved into the Marathon? I don't think the game tells us for sure one way or the other, so feel free to come up with your own theories. One more interesting note about Bernard Strauss is that there was a professor at the University of Chicago by the same name. Mr. Strauss was the geneticist in the Department of Molecular Genetics and Cell Biology at the university. Of course, we know that the founders of Bungie, Alex Seropian and Jason Jones, went to school at the University of Chicago, so it seems fairly likely that the name in the game came from a real person. Well, there certainly was a lot to discuss in that short bit of text, wasn't there? Let's progress with the level and find Leela. So, that terminal is interesting. Kind of come down here and the door will open. I thought, yeah, there it is. I was like, I remember that, right? It does open, right? Okay. And then this is the infamous door because it opens super slow. So, yeah. We just gotta sit here and wait. Okay, we get through there. You kind of have to look at this hallway to beat the level. It's actually, I think, this part right here. This polygon you have to look at to beat the level. And there's also like a trigger right at this polygon I'm standing on that opens the final door. You can kind of hear it off in the distance. And then this jumps down to the start of the level. Now, there's a door that opened. Let's see where I am. To that area. Before we go there, let's heal up. Oh, shoot. I just want to make sure I don't die. But apparently I went through by the door I was trying to avoid so I could heal, but it's all good. Let's go save it real quick. We can go ahead and read Durandal's second message. Science Terminal 236G. Incoming message from Durandal. Durandal 33 67 92 23 91. Well, you did it. That wasn't very hard, was it? No? Well, then next time, I'll just have to make it harder. Anyway, Leela is looking for you, but I've only allowed her access to one terminal here. You had better go find her. This fit had been giving her a hard time. With vague salutations, Durandal. End message. This terminal did not have a second message in the demo. Rather than congratulating us on getting through his little game, Durandal tells us his test was too easy and he should have made it harder. I guess he isn't one to tell us when we actually did a good job. We are going to have to go find Leela, as it seems the compilers have been continuing to wear her down. Let's continue. Okay, and then here we are in the final room with Leela's final terminal. Before we read that, there's actually a secret message we can get. We gotta hit this switch again and run all the way back to the Blaspheme quarantine storage area with Durandal's terminal. So I'll meet you there and we'll go read that terminal in just a minute. Okay, here we are at this terminal. This terminal is actually another exit to the level, so after we're finished with it, I'm just gonna load back to the starting area. Quarantine Lab Control Room, Terminal 321-A. Incoming message from Durandal. Isn't hanging around here getting a little bit boring? Get lost, kid. Scam. Ciao. What are you looking for anyway? If you're looking for a hidden stash of ammunition that was left here by the Martian insurgents 315 years ago, then I know that you shouldn't look in quarantine storage. Who would hide huge amounts of ammunition in a storage area? Since you have nothing better to do than hang around here with me, listen to this tune that I've been working on, sung to the tune of Whirling Death Spikes, Big Blue Orchards, and Wild Blueberries. Dur, 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 Durandal, dur, 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 Durandal, he ain't no slouch, pal. He'll make you smile or cry, like Leela did, baby. Airlock love, Big Blue Orchards, Martian skies, and Wild Blueberries. Dur, 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 Durandal, dur, 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 Durandal, he ain't no slouch, pal. Dur, 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 Durandal, dur, 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 Durandal, he'll make you out, Hal. He's got great guile. Why, lady, did you have it daily? Airlock love, no oxygen, suffocation. Dur, 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 Durandal, dur, 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 Durandal, he ain't no slouch, pal. Repeat chorus 11 times, changing key with each chorus. Get lost before I get annoyed and teleport you out into space. Durandal. End message. Jump pad activation, initiation, start. Transport when ready. This is probably one of the most ridiculous terminals in the Marathon Trilogy. If you can think of a sillier one, let me know, but I am not sure there is one. Durandal tells us there is a secret ammo stash in this area. The map annotation for this room is quarantine storage, as Durandal points out. Apparently, the secret ammo stash was hidden here by the Martian insurgents. This ammo stash we of course have already found, but it is fairly easy secret to miss. According to the terminal, this ammo was placed here 315 years ago. According to the lost network packets, the Marathon was attacked by the Four in the year 2794. So going back 315 years, we would be talking about the year 2479. According to the lost network packets, the Martians placed ammunition on the Marathon in the year 2465. This means that it should have been about 329 years ago, but I guess the dates in this game aren't exactly perfect. It seems that Leela isn't the only AI on the Marathon having troubles with dates. One thing that is a bit odd is that the second terminal on the rows had informed us that the Mida coup had never attempted to take over the Marathon. It seems that the insurgents who placed this ammo were not part of the Mida coup. After all, according to the lost network packets, the ammunition was placed prior to the failed Mida coup, but I am not sure if that is very clear. Now, why would the insurgents place secret ammo stashes on the Marathon? I'm not sure that the game ever explains it, but the most logical explanation is that they were planning to have a revolt at some point in the future on the Marathon, but I don't think that ever really happened. I guess at least we can take advantage of it. For whatever reason, Durandal seems to be annoyed with us wasting time, and you can easily see it from reading the terminal. To show his frustration, Durandal decides to sing us a strange song on his favorite topic, himself. He tells us a song that it is in the tune of, however, it is not a real song, so we are left up to our imagination exactly what it may have sounded like. It's quite funny to read that we are supposed to sing the chorus 11 more times. We ain't got time for that. It's even funnier that he gets annoyed enough at our lollygagging that he decides to just go ahead and teleport us to the next level. I think this is one of the few levels that has multiple exit terminals, although this is not the main exit terminal. It is unclear why Durandal would teleport us back to follow along on Leela's mission. Perhaps he just wanted to test us for now and actually wants us to help Leela at the moment. Oh well. All this is despite the fact that he threatened to teleport us into space. Teleporting people into space is a sort of running joke in the Marathon Trilogy. I guess it is quite hilarious. Anyways, that's all for this terminal. Let's head back and meet Leela at the main exit terminal. Okay, here we are back at the start. So now we're gonna go and read Leela's terminal to finish the level. Public access terminal. Incoming message from Leela. I have finally been able to determine your whereabouts. Normally I would have been able to detect Durandal's interference and counter it, but the Sphit attacks on my defenses have been largely successful. I am in grave danger of failure within the next few hours. You will transport area to secure the security detachment. Hope they have not been overrun yet. The situation has deteriorated. You must act quickly. Durandal has wasted too much time already. Transfer error. Jump pad activation, initiation start. Transport when ready. Leela's condition is definitely getting worse, and her time with us will be very short. It makes sense that Durandal was able to kidnap us so easily with Leela in such a weak state. The location that Leela wants us to send us to is garbled up. It's obvious though where she wants to send us from what she told us in the end of G4 Sunbathing. I'm sending you to the engineering section to rescue the security detachment. You'll have to clear the area of aliens. It seems that after completing Durandal's little game, that Durandal is allowing us to complete this next mission for Leela. I suppose you could also look at it as Durandal was trying to prevent us from getting to the engineering section. I guess there are multiple ways to interpret this, but either way we are going to be helping Leela now. The original level notes tell us a bit more about Durandal. It reads that she describes how Durandal's rampancy has protected him from the alien attacks. The final version of this terminal left this context out, but it seems that if Durandal had not been rampant, that he would have been susceptible to the compiler's attacks on him as well. This terminal was completely changed from the demo version of the level, where it was just a message stating the demo had been over and trying to entice fans to purchase the game. I won't read it as it doesn't really add any context to the game. The song for this mission is titled Guardians. This is the first time this song has appeared. Despite being kidnapped by Durandal, it is very upbeat and gets you in the Marathon Carnage mood. I suppose the security officer is not fazed by Durandal's little game and is just enjoying another day clearing out the 4 invaders. The central portion of the map has several small rooms near the center area that are annotated on the map as Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. This gives the impression that each of these rooms are small quarantine rooms, perhaps for storing goods or for quarantining people, or perhaps in this case for kidnapping security officers. One of the rooms even has a small window for people to communicate with quarantined individuals, it seems. If you are playing the demo, you might run across some bobs near the start of the map in one of the small rooms. If you are lucky, you might even catch them climbing up platforms. How impressive. Unfortunately, in the final version of the level, the bobs were removed. Instead of bobs, Grey Kirkpatrick decided to put in several hulks throughout the level. I think this was because the maps were limited to 3 types in the first Marathon game. Thanks for sucking up our ammo, Greg. There is a switch near the start whose purpose is not immediately obvious. New players will quickly realize that it activates an elevator down the stairs on the opposite side of the wall from the switch. This is the first of many simple puzzles the security officer faces in Durandal's little game. He really didn't make this game that hard. The original level design notes say that the mission is survival with some rather simple platform tests. We can confirm the simple part. Once we go up the elevator from the starting area, there is another series of rooms and whatnot with elevator platforms, pattern buffers, locked doors, etc. Once we make our way out, we will find a hallway that leads around the entire starting area. At first, the area is fairly dark, but we find a couple of switches and the right switch lightens the area up a tad. Not enough that it is immediately obvious on what the switch does though. The left switch turns on the inactive elevator platform that was in the central area. There is another lone switch around the map that turns on the lights in the hallway above. We won't reach this hallway until much later in the level. One of the doors in the central area leads to a drop-off back to the starting area. This is where the Bobs like to climb the platform in the demo. If you look up at the wall to the left before you drop down, you will see a small hallway where the Bobs started the map at in the demo versions. Anyways, there is a particular polygon there that opens the door to the start of the level. When you jump across the ledge from the second floor on the central area to the outside ledge, there is a polygon you jump over that opens up a door to the next area that is annotated on the map as Quarantine Center. The entire polygon ledge that you jump to actually works as another trigger to stop the elevator platform that leads back up to the starting area. Be careful not to jump down to the first elevator platform after making it to this ledge, as you might get stuck depending on where the platform was at. The Quarantine Center room has a switch in the central area that raises the stairs up to the next part of the level. This switch at the top of these stairs opens what is probably the fanciest door in the game. New players might have expected to see Darth Vader on the other side. Anyways, the door leads to a very small room with a teleporter. What you don't realize though is that this room actually has a polygon that turns off the second elevator near the start that brought us up to the higher elevation to jump across the ledge. Things are just slowly turning off as we progress. After passing through the teleporter, we arrive at a room annotated as Quarantine Storage. This room has 2 short ledges to switches, a terminal and a shield recharge station to the left and to the right. The left ledge path turns on the lights and the right ledge path turns off the lights when you walk over them. Each of the switches in this room activates a series of platforms that take us to the teleporter that takes us to the next area. In the terminal in this room, Durandal tells us how much fun he is having playing with us in his little game. The switch right next to the terminal does absolutely nothing. How fitting. The switches at the end of the right ledge raise up portions of the platform that allow us to get to the exit teleporter. Normally, I just hit all the switches at once and run down and let the platforms carry me up to the teleporter. Once you get to the teleporter, you reach another room with plenty of enemies to take care of. This room has a short hallway that just connects back to the same room. This hallway has a short ledge to give the hallway a nice look. As a secondary purpose, there is a spot on the ledge that will open a secret door that leads to the secret with the terminal from Tycho. This secret is very easy to miss, as you have to grenade jump to a ledge that you would not normally go on when you find the secret door you hear off in the distance. Additionally, you are not able to hear the door open once the polygon is stepped on, which makes it not obvious that the secret has been opened. This secret also did not exist in the demo version of the level. Once you fall in the pit back in the main room, you will find the slowest opening door in the Marathon game. Going through that door, though, leads to the end of the mission. Both of the Durandal terminals in this mission display a second message. This level is an exploration type mission, which means that in order to complete the mission, you have to look at a certain polygon in the map. In the Marathon sequels, you would have to step on a particular polygon. Anyways, this polygon exists in the hallway just after the door that opens way too slow. Once you see this polygon, the second message on both of the Durandal terminals will appear. If you return to the Quarantine storage room, you'll find Durandal's second message and his infamous song. This terminal also serves as the second way to exit the level if you want to avoid talking to Leela. Additionally, he tells us about secret ammo stashes that were stored on the Marathon by the Martian insurgents. There's actually a secret room storing some of the ammo right next to the terminal. The polygon that activates this door is right next to the teleporter. Gray gives us plenty of time to get back to the door and grab the ammo, but be careful not to lollygag too much, as the door will close behind you, trapping you in there if you are too slow. Notice that the door doesn't open the instant you step on the polygon, but shortly after. Note that this secret did not exist in the demo version of the level. At the end of this hallway, right before you jump down, there's a polygon that once you step on will open and close the door that leads to the exit terminal with Leela. Basically, when you step on this polygon, it will change the state of the door to the opposite of what it currently is. This means that sometimes you might go through the level and find the door closed depending on how you stepped on this polygon. In the demo versions of the level, the exit door to the level was opened up by hitting a switch at the end of the hallway. This switch could be seen from the area below, perhaps giving players a glimpse or an aspiration to get to the switch. This, however, backfired because players could merely shoot the switch with a grenade and prematurely exit the level. Fortunately, Greg saw this issue and made it so the demo had an unfinished message prompting you to explore the level and complete the exploration objective by seeing the polygon in the hallway. The released version of this level does have a way to skip the majority level by grenade hopping up to the platform that opens the final door from below. You need at least ×2 shield from the previous level in order to have enough shield to make it up there. Unfortunately, there is no ×2 shield generator on Blaspheme Quarantine. When doing the skip, you need to make sure you look down the hallway in order to activate the polygon that accomplishes the exploration objective for the level. If you don't, you will not be able to see Leela's message and you will not be able to go to the next mission even though you can make it to the final terminal. The release version of this level does not have an unfinished message, as Greg Kirkpatrick didn't realize the crazy grenade hopping skills the community would develop over the years. After completing the demo version of the level, players were transported back to the first demo level on arrival with all the guns and ammunition they had collected. This gave players enjoying the demo an incentive to play through the demo again. Well, that's it for this level. There was really quite a bit to discuss, and I hope you found it all enjoyable. In the next level, Barbecue, we will be making it to the engineering section to rescue as many Bobs as we can. Barbecue is the first level in the next chapter, Reprisal. See you all then.